Do you describe your brows as overplucked, thin, sparse, fine? Yep, me too, mainly thanks to some awful 90s eyebrow trends. And so I'm sharing in this video my favourite 4 ways to instantly improve the look of your eyebrows. Hi, if we haven't met, I'm Tori and I've been a brow artist for well over 10 years now and helped to transform lots and lots of eyebrows. These 4 solutions are quick and easy to do and show instantaneous results. So we're not really talking about longer term like hair growth hacks or anything. However, if you stick around to the end, I will share some quick tips with you of how to take care of your brows for optimum brow hair health and growth. Okay, let's get started. 4 solutions. Number 1. First up, I highly recommend brow tinting. A brow tint will immediately make your brows look so much thicker and so much fuller. You don't even have to take them any darker than your natural shade if you don't want to, but by tinting, if done correctly, you can pick up all the vellus hairs around the eyebrow, making your brows appear thicker than they naturally are. It will also pick up any lighter hairs within the brow, so overall giving the appearance of a thicker, fuller brow. Things that are important to know is you want to make sure that you pick a brow tint that is going to suit and flatter your features, but more importantly, your overall tone. And what I mean by that is, are you cool, neutral, or warm skin toned? If you get this wrong, it can be a little bit jarring and not as feature flattering. So just try and make sure that you know what your skin undertone is and then you match the tint accordingly. Obviously, I would advise going and seeing a professional and then you don't need to worry about any of this. Just explain to them that you would like your brows to look thicker and fuller and that you want a shade that's going to work with your natural colouring. That person will then be able to work all of the rest out for you. However, if you do decide to do this from home, also remember you must patch test yourself. The last thing you want to do is buy a tint off the internet and stick it straight on your eyebrows and then find you have a reaction. So make sure you patch test first and follow the instructions of the tint that you use. I do have a dedicated video on how to tint your brows, so I will link that in the description box below. Solution number 2 is a brow gel, but more specifically one with texture in it. My absolute favourite go-to is this one from, I think it's called Kosas, but please, if I'm pronouncing that wrong, let me know in the comments how to pronounce it. But it's this one here. It is their Eyebrow Gel, and this colour is taupe. And it is so clever because the brow gel actually has little fibres and textures within it. So as you apply it to your eyebrows, it instantly gives a much thicker, more textured look. It's incredibly clever. Now, it's not the cheapest. I think this was about £23, and I'll be honest, I have yet to find a dupe that is anywhere near as good as this. So if you are using one that is more high street budget friendly, please also let me know in the comments so that I can try that out. The other thing that I love about this one is the shade. So I am a neutral skin tone and this is definitely neutral, and they have a really good shade selection. So I can highly recommend this. It will give some hold to your eyebrows so you can lift the little hairs up, again, making them look thicker and fuller. I also have a technique where I can take a fine angle brush through the wand and then actually apply the gel directly to my brows where I have just got no hair and I've just got big gaps, and that will create even thicker, fuller, more defined finish. I'm generally only doing that, however, when I'm wearing a full face of makeup. I personally like a much more natural textured eyebrow, and that is immediately what this product gives me. So cannot recommend this one enough. Okay, solution number 3 is have a brow lamination treatment. Brow lamination is insanely transformative. The process of the treatment relaxes the brow hair, and then a brow artist or specialist would design and shape the brows, ideally to be flattering to your face shape, and lift the hair up into a new position. Personally, I always choose to lift and create a sweeping effect. That way it's much more natural and it's much more flattering to most face shapes. Generally speaking, and double check with the person that you go to first, but if you were coming to me, it also includes a brow tint, which we already know can be super beneficial to creating thicker brows, and then a brow wax. This means that you've created a beautiful shape, you've got rid of unwanted hair, you've added more definition through the tinting process, and the lamination itself lifts, defines, and gives so much more texture to your eyebrows. Other side benefits is if you have any scars through your brows, any now fading and unwanted brow tattoos or microblading, you can manipulate the hair to disguise lots of these issues and problems. So for example, with my brows, I have one that sits slightly higher than the other. That's very common, by the way. And when I laminate my brows, I can style them in a way which helps minimize this. And finally, solution number 4, it's another makeup product, and it is a brow pen. The reason I love a brow pen is you can create individual hair strokes, and this is always going to give you the most natural looking eyebrow. My personal favourite is from NYX or NYX, and it's the Snatch and Lift brow pen. I have 2 different shades. This one is called Ash Brown, but I do also buy it in Espresso. And the reason that I like to have 2 shades is because when my brows are either freshly laminated or freshly tinted, they will look much darker. And the Espresso is a nice neutral to cool tone, and that works really well when I've just tinted my brows. However, the Ash Brown will work much, much better as I'm kind of in desperate need of a tint, basically. Also, having 2 shades, I will mix them together sometimes, and this also helps create a much more natural finish. I really like my brows to look textured and natural and much, much more like hair than anything too thick or blocky. So a couple of things I will share to make this really easy to use. First up, make sure you store it upright. It will have a tendency to pull. So if you were, you can see it instantly, there's a little bubble that's appeared as soon as I've kind of held it, nib down. And basically the product, particularly when it's brand new, will pull, and then you go to apply it on your eyebrow and you've got this thick blob. So always make sure you store it upright in this position, obviously with the cap on. Secondly, when it is brand new, I always make sure I have a tissue to hand so that just before I apply it, I might just dab it so it's nice and dry. And then in terms of application, I really like to work from the base of the brow upwards. And the absolute best thing to do is find somewhere where you can join the hairs together. So maybe you've got like a little gap, but then you've got some hair further up here. Just take the brow pen so that you've got a line to follow. So it just keeps it really natural and really, really light. The other thing I will say is when you get to the front of your brows, and if you're one of those people who's got brows that were very overplucked in the front section and perhaps they start a little bit further over than you would like, this will be your best friend. But at the front of your brow here, so in this section, you want the hair strokes at the front of your brow to go up or out to varying degrees. The reason being is it's so easy if you go straight or if you start to bring them together, you create a very scowly brow. And you bring the 2 points down here, which gives you a kind of look of being just not in a particularly good mood. And it's not the most flattering look. So always try and make sure that your brow hairs at the front are kind of outwards and upwards like that. And those are my 4 solutions for thicker, fuller looking eyebrows. Now, I promised at the beginning some general tips on how to care for your brows. First thing, when you take off your makeup in the evening, I highly recommend using an oil-based cleanser first. When you have finer, sparser hair, you want to be as gentle as possible with it. So I highly recommend removing any makeup, brow gels, pens, pencils, etc. with an oil-based cleanser. Second, I do personally choose to massage an oil into my eyebrows. I'm not expecting huge amounts of hair growth from this, but I do think that it is beneficial to keep the hair hydrated. Massage helps with blood flow and circulation. So I do choose that at the end of my skincare routine in the evening, I do apply a little bit of oil and then I massage it in. And lastly, if you have sparse, thin, fine eyebrows, I would avoid stronghold brow glues. These are amazing for creating hold, but I have found they are so much more difficult to cleanse away, and I generally find that I actually lose hair if I have tested out a brow glue. So if you really are struggling with hair growth and the condition of your brow hair, opt for a more gentle brow gel and avoid those strong hold glues. They're amazing if you've got coarse, thick brows and you love that lifted look. It will hold your brows in place all day. But instead of those, for more sparse, fine or fragile brows, I absolutely love this product, and it is the e.l.f. Brow Lift Gel. It's a transparent gel and it does have a really decent hold. I like to apply mine actually with a lip gloss wand applicator, create the lifted look, and then brush and blend it through with a spoolie. Then, if I'm going out for the day, I take that spoolie with me because, say, if I've gone shopping and I'm taking clothes on and off, or I don't know, touch my face and manage to kind of like upset the brows, you can almost just then reactivate that brow gel. It's still there, it's still in place, it does give a good amount of hold, and you can just brush it back up with the spoolie. I personally would choose to do this method and know that I might have to kind of maintain it a little bit during the day than a really strong hold product that is potentially going to cause me to have hair loss once I try and get it out. If you are now considering a brow lamination treatment, you may want to watch this video next because it's a step-by-step guide on exactly what it involves and how it's done, so you can see all of the behind-the-scenes stuff plus the results on someone who does have fine, blonde, sparse brows. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Take care and I will see you in the next one. Bye.